I got a lot of sense.
Welcome to episode 465 of Fourth and Jawn. I'm Gail Saunders here with Evan Hollywood Hearn, and today we're doing a little Eagles OTAs recap and some Eagles news and notes. I mean, obviously the offseason has been off-seasoning. We took a little hiatus. The summer's starting to brew up. A lot of things going on. I've been to a lot of events. We might not have a pod in the last 2 weeks, but I've been to my share of events, and it's not stopping. There's mad events coming up. The Devontae Smith softball game. Jason Kelsey's having an event down shore, so you got to pick and choose where you want to get in and fit in. But just talking about just recently, we were at the Brian Dawkins Impact Foundation. He had a golf outing. Ev, I mean, you would have loved.
I missed it. Yeah,
to be there playing. Obviously, I don't do golf. Prime doesn't do golf, but
were you able to tell what a good-looking swing was versus a bad-looking swing?
No, I was taking photos. I was making people nervous out there. I didn't see Ev. I don't know anything about the golf. What do you call it? Mannerism. What you're supposed to do on a golf course? Etiquette. I'm taking shots of people while they're taking their swings. I'm in their sight lines, and people are like, "Yo, what are you doing?" I was like, "Bro, I don't do golf, but I will do that for Brian Dawkins." A great event, obviously, great time out there. Primo was in his heyday. I didn't realize it was Primo's first time ever meeting Brian Dawkins.
Oh, so you're just flexing right now. I'm picking up the many times that you've met Brian Dawkins.
Well, you got to come out to the Brian Dawkins Impact Foundation, and obviously, a dinner was had. A lot of good time. Shout out to Nick Johnson, NickJohnson.art on all socials, and Jesse Wine's in the building, and shout out to Sean, who works with Brian Dawkins. But Nick was out there filming the whole thing. Got some good content. So if you check us out on our YouTube page, you'll see some of the day. But
and what country club was it at?
Penn Oaks.
Okay.
Nice. But I could go on. I mean, Ev, how have you been?
I've been doing well, man. Busy over here as well. If you can tell, new background behind me. First show from the new joint. Okay. Actually, just got finished mowing the lawn, so very much in my homeowner bag right now. But it's been good, man. Really been enjoying it. Just got home from Chicago as well. Had a big work trip. So, but looking forward to life slowing down so that I could focus on the birds more, man. Because we're getting there. The the voluntary stuff is coming to an end. Has come to an end, and everything forward is mandatory. It's gonna be football season, bro. Time to defend the world championship.
It's a good time to be alive as Eagle fan. I feel like where you're at in your fandom is where a lot of Eagle fans are right now. Like we're coming off the high, right? But you're trying to like think about like it's time to move forward. But you're like, wait a minute, do I wear this merch? I'm still gonna wear the merch.
Yeah,
still gonna wear the merch. But in the last couple of weeks, I've also got to speak with Alex Hallaby, assistant GM of the Eagles, and Chuck Walls, the VP of Player Personnel. Shout out to Allie. She hooked it up. So when people ask like, how do you get these invites? A lot of great people in the community. But shout out to her. The event was awesome. Getting to talk to the assistant GM about some of these players that we're about to talk about, and the Eagles. The OTAs. I mean, this Eagles OTAs wasn't as exciting for me. Obviously,
when you're coming off of a Super Bowl win, like it's kind of like a hangover sort of situation still. You know what I mean? Like we just came from the last time we saw the Eagles, it was with confetti. So anything less than that isn't going to be glamorous, man. But it's the start of the new season.
Right. Yeah, I'm always here for the notes. Obviously we're always picking up notes on the players and the prospects, but I really felt like with Devontae Smith out of the picture, like AJ Brown wasn't really in the lineup. Well, what are we really doing here? I mean, obviously we saw some talent on the back end of the wide receiver position. We can go over how many times Jalen Hurts completed passes in practice. But that's what we're going to do. We're going, Jalen Hurts is looking as good as you'd think he would look. Obviously, new pieces added to the puzzle. Patullo as our offensive coordinator now. He's been here in the mix for a minute. He had his presser. Vic Fangio spoke a little bit about Vic Fangio is very blunt. Do you enjoy a Fangio presser?
Yeah, like we mentioned before with Nick Sirianni, he's a coach that is actually, unlike an Andy Reid that is just, you're not going to get anything out of him in a press conference. You're going to get stuff out of Sirianni. You're also going to get honesty out of Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio will just tell you straight up. He had no problem doing that. He talks about Keely Ringo. He talks about Sidney Brown and how he's just, hasn't really done anything up until October of last year. And then, had to miss some time as well. And how being honest about the quality of the reps that he's gotten. So it's, as a player, I can imagine hearing your coach speak about you so bluntly. You have to have a thickness to your skin, but you're in the NFL and appreciate that. And I know that Vic Fangio is, righting the ship the right way and keeping these guys focused.
Yeah, I think. One of the main things that Fangio talked about was Cooper DeJean and his ability to cross train at other positions. This is something that on this pod I've been talking about for a while now. The last couple episodes of why not?
Yeah,
and if I'm Cooper DeJean's camp, why not? Because you are trying to maximize his dollars as well. A nickel cornerback versus an outside cornerback. There's a difference in the pay rate, but a guy who can potentially play safety, a position where I felt like, he could lock that up when he first came in. I was like, man, this guy could play safety. To hear Fangio, double down on what I was kind of thinking about. But I know we have talked about it. And Cooper DeJean, you're like, he's done a phenomenal job at nickel. Why move him?
Yep.
Is an idea a lot of fans have talked about, but if he can show that he can master the outside position and then he can also master the safety position. I mean, if you look at Cooper, he's a big corner.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we have a nice piece to the puzzle where we talk about the Justin Simmons of the world. We talk about the Jair Alexander situation with cut me open, I bleed green. How are you feeling? I mean, obviously, how are you feeling off the back about that idea of him coming potentially or a potential target for the Eagles?
Are you talking about? I thought you were talking about DeJean.
Jair
Alexander.
Jair,
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, him. I think that you will find a way that it seems too it would make too much sense. I don't understand why this wouldn't be a home run for Howie. I mean, you talk about Howie Roseman likes to be that guy that even post-draft, he wants to have his name in the paper. He wants to make that big splash play. Jair Alexander is a big name. I mean, he was he not All-Pro a couple years ago?
Yeah.
So to put him now a veteran who has some experience in the league, I think still definitely has some juice in the tank. You put him opposite of Quinyon, and you keep Coop in the slot. I mean, you hope that Makuba can turn into a starting safety, and that's pretty damn good, man.
Or give you some nickel too. A lot of good. I mean, the Jair Alexander. This is what I've said to most people who texted me today. 14 games played in the last 2 years. Torn PCL, shoulder injury. If you listen to this pod, I was very high on Jair Alexander coming out of the draft. I really wanted him on the Eagles. But I can also see, from a money perspective, Adoree Jackson, Keely Ringo at their price tag, it's peanuts. Peanuts what you're paying for at this moment. is Jair Alexander a better option for the Eagles just from talent alone? We're talking about Keely Ringo, who's been in the system. I think they're high on Keely Ringo. I'm not saying high as in he's the next Darius Slay, but my thing is with Keely, it's his ability to play fast, football IQ. When you know what you're doing. I mean, one thing he mentioned in one of the pressers during OTAs was playing to your help. Now, like playing to your help. When he said that, that was exactly what I wanted to hear, because that's the kind of football IQ plays where a Cooper DeJean comes off coverage when he knows where his help's at and where he can freelance and make plays like that, and just knowing your surroundings. Knowing, he mentioned about how Cooper is very smart, picking up the plays in different positions. This is what good players do. You know what the other man's doing, and then you can play fast. But I mean, what are your feelings about Keely Ringo? I mean, it's Keely Ringo, Adoree Jackson.
I mean, Keely Ringo is a guy that we have for years now. I've been hoping that he's going to take that next step and just take the reins and prove his way into the starting position. But I mean, as it has been right now, he hasn't been able to just wow everybody and blow people out of the water when it comes to the competition he's up against. So that to me is a little bit concerning, as far as, I don't want to say concerning is the right word, just as much as like, what can we make our true expectations of Keely Ringo? Is he going to be a legitimate CB2 in this league, or is he going to be a CB3-4 that is able to contribute nicely on special teams? Because that is also a valuable player, but that still leaves the void of a legitimate CB2. So if Adoree Jackson can be that guy, I'm for it. The beauty of the situation right now is I feel like we have options. We can do this. We can, do you want to keep bolstering up on the defensive line as well? Like there's options that we can do.
Yeah, you think about the money. Obviously, we haven't talked since the Bryce Huff trade happened. So,
which is like how does Howie, does he got pictures of these people? I don't understand how you get anything for Bryce Huff.
Well, he teams up with his old head coach with the Jets, where he had one of his best years. So if they know how to use him, I think in terms of like, was he a scheme fit? Was he Howie guy? Was he not a Fangio guy in the first place? But Fangio is, if you're Fangio's guy, he will find a role for you.
Fangio, to me, as a fan that is outside the building, comes across as a guy that he values work ethic more than anything. And so if you're willing to put in the work and prove to him that you're willing to do anything to have that position, then chances are you'll do all the right things and to be able to do that. You look at guys like Devin White last year, who came here and then left because they more or less just assumed they would have the starting role and ended up losing it to guys like Zach Bond, who goes on and has an all-pro year, and to Kobe Dean. So I don't know, man. I think that Vic Fangio brings the right kind of mindset, and he weeds out the ones that don't carry the winning mindset to the football field.
I really, it's about building the best football team. That also means depth. And I think bringing in good football players is obviously, as a GM, that's your job. A lot of people, there's people in the comments now talking about the Jair Alexander. Darren says, I'll pass on Alexander, best abilities, availability, and Alexander hasn't had it over the last 2 seasons. Not worth it. Cut me open says, I'd rather have a nickel than 5 pennies. My thing is, with Adoree Jackson, I spoke to a lot of my Giants friends, and they've loved Adoree Jackson's play. Obviously, on a 1.5 clip, 30-year-old corner, 10 years experience. When people are like, "Oh, bringing a veteran core," we have one here for cheap already, and he's shown to be pretty good so far in camp. I think it's the perfect opportunity for Keely Ringo to step up. But again, like I said, if there's somebody available that they feel like they can pull the trigger on, like a Justin
think they're gonna
Simmons.
get your boy, bro. I think they're getting Simmons. Yeah.
And
I
my
mean,
thing is,
does the fact that Chauncey said anything like make you feel better about it? Like he's straight up said he wants his boy Jay Simmons. Like,
and we've kind of known that for a while. We've talked about that for a while. Just being he outpriced himself last year, but the fact that he's out there, I think it's an opportunity for the Eagles. Obviously, we could talk about OTAs and whatever, but until they get the pads on and they're really flying, they'll know what they have at safety. Makuba in the mix and Sidney Brown in the mix. Sidney Brown getting some of those first team reps, but Makuba was out there early getting some mental reps with the team, or reps with the team. But it's you got to see what you got, And then McCullum, a lot of people forget about McCullum, and the fact that Fangio mentioned McCullum.
Doing well, yeah.
You gotta give some credit to why he would mention him. Usually they don't just mention anyone.
We're sitting here today with how much cap space available? Somewhere like 31, 32?
What are you trying to spend?
Am I making that up?
You trying to spend?
I'm just saying, like I'm saying I'm simply saying that we have options.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying that there are things that we could do. There is it would be wise to leave money available throughout the year in case you need to do something mid-season. As well, but I don't know, man. There's money available much too.
We have money available and we have draft picks. So Howie is in position to make a move. He's always ready to make a move at the mid-season, right before.
And now, I was gonna say, June 1st just passed. There's a bunch of that. But just got like guys like Jair Alexander, there's going to be other guys that continue to get dropped.
Yeah, I mean, and then we had what's his name from Miami, Ramsey potential trade availability. I don't know. We'll see where that goes.
What do you think Ramsey nets nowadays? Because what was he when he went to LA? Like 2 first? There's no way. He's like maybe a 3rd round pick now.
Somewhere around there, I think. Because obviously the money aspect. But again, that's where. Because my thing is, if you're a Howie, you're really trying to see what you have and ball on a budget. Obviously, there's Eli Ricks in the mix. Been here a while. Again, it's I mean, I think if Jai, this is probably the last time I talk about Jai Alexander on this part, but Jair, you have to think he turned down a contract with the Packers to restructure. He said no. So you're betting on ego. He's betting on his ego and betting on his ability, but then the league will tell you what your worth is. So is it a Super Bowl? Is he after Super Bowl? Is the question. Like, what is your why? Like, if your why is trying to win a Super Bowl, get back at the Packers, and you can roll back to Green Bay in November with us and Philly Sports Trips and be out there on the Eagles and trying to win a Super Bowl, or are you more about getting paid? I mean, you can up your value playing on a Super Bowl team. We've seen a lot of prove it deal type situations work out. But I think I mean it's this is coming from a guy who's been Jair Alexander stan for a minute, but I also see the value of like seeing what you got and rolling the dice if Keely Ringo
and holding on to assets. Yeah, I hear you.
So I mean that's interesting. I mean the running back position we could talk about Saquon Barkley getting a couple reps in OTAs. For me it's the Will Shipley, AJ Dillon, and for me it's the Shunderick Powell.
Yeah, I know you love some Shunderick.
Talk to Shunderick at the Eagles Autism Challenge. And people are just walking by. I'm like, like this guy's just giving people water. I'm like, I rolled up on Sean Derrick. I'm like, bro, I've been watching a lot of tape of you, man. I mean, like, I am so happy you're here. And he's like, well, thank you for noticing.
That's funny.
He was excited. He gave me a follow on Twitter. But he's a guy. I hope they find a role for him, man. Like I know he's undersized back, but if we could get him on return game, I feel like I don't want to be like the Trayvon Grimes of running backs here. Like I feel like he's got some talent, and I'm not just saying that.
I got you. I feel like you want to. It's hard not to say the S word when you think about him, or the S name, I should say, in comparison, just because that's for years after Darren Sproles left, I feel like the front office was looking for the Darren Sproles prototype to fill in there. And you don't want to put that label on that guy, but it's going to be, if he sits here and balls out in the preseason, all 5'7" of them, exactly what the fan base is going to be comparing him to.
I mean, I love utility guys. I love,
for sure. I mean, if he could find his way to an RB3 sort of situation, it'd be great.
I mean, he would RB4 with special teams ability. Now, if you look at, we recently picked up, I believe his name's Kalon. Thinking about his.
You got to think though, when you got Saquon, you're not carrying 4 running backs. You're not. Unless he's absolutely balling out on special teams.
Yeah,
which I mean, tough to do when you're 5'7", unless you're returning.
Kalen Robinson from Jacksonville, we just picked up. Avery Williams, we found out he's dealing with an injury, undisclosed injury. So he's a guy that can, potentially he could be a jack of all trades type, special teams, running back, maybe wide receiver if you really want to use him in a versatile type situation. I think, with our running back group, I think Will Shipley, I really want to see what he brings to the table. We spoke to him at the Eagles Autism Challenge. We put on a Crafty Jawn Super Bowl chain on his neck. He was very, very excited. Wore it the whole day. If you look at photos throughout the day and people are posting, he still wore it. Him and Cam Jurgens, we blessed them with some chains. But I really do think Will Shipley, he's just I think he's got a great opportunity. We ran into Van Sumeren at the Eagles Autism Challenge. He said he loved the autism shirts that we made. He said he wanted one. I was like, one of these? Okay, we'll send you one. But Van Sumeren, I think, the only fullback on the roster. I feel like
love that.
He's in a good space mentally. He dealt with the injury at the end of the season. But overall, I mean, I really think the big storylines of is who is our offensive line depth. Obviously, Brett Toth is not going to be taking over for Cam Jurgens. I do like the Drew Kendall from Boston College. I think he, getting some second team reps. I really feel like if you listen to Jordan Mailata speak about the rookies, he was very hype about the rookies, Cam Williams, Hinton, and Kendall. He felt like he's like, and then I do think from his perspective as a 7th round pick, and him having to sit and marinate, he was once in these guys' shoes. A guy, but
right.
Obviously didn't play football or have football dads like Kendall and Hinton, whatever. But I think it's a great place to learn.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's especially you talk about even going back to Shipley and it's this whole offense is very complementary of each other. This offensive line, it's easy for them to do well when you have the running back group and the other weapons that we have. If this a running back group, it's easy for them to look good when the offensive line is who they are. And obviously Brett Toth is not taking over for Cam Jurgens. But that That I feel so luxurious in feeling like I don't even sit here and worry about the offensive line on a year-to-year basis. How can you? I mean, you look at PFF just graced us with, obviously we pick and choose when we like PFF, but we're going to like them right now because they ranked all the tackles in the league, and the Big Boppa, the man from down under, was number one tackle rated in the league. Lane Johnson at 5, so you have 2 of the top 5 tackles in the league. This offensive line is going to be fine. You got Jeff Stoutland. You got Landon Dickerson. Everybody's going to be. It's all going to be cohesive.
Good time to be alive, man.
It is a great time to be alive, man. Eagles are Super Bowl champs. You don't have that. It was so weird, like looking back on it, to have the drama that we had surrounding the first time that we won the Super Bowl. And like, we didn't know what to feel because we had never won the Super Bowl before. So it was like, yeah, it's just, I guess this is what it's like. But like, it was so much more turbulent with all of the little things and storylines that came with that one, where this team just seems locked in. Everybody's still got the right mentality. We were able to keep the core group of guys that contributed to this. That the team's young, they're motivated, they're still hungry. It's great to see, man.
Shout out to Peasy. Says, "What's up, Super Bowl champs?" We have Gary Gallagher saying, "All right, lads, go Birds." Resident hater Pete Nathan says Adoree Jackson might be a good fit, similar to Isaiah Rodgers, which is very true. James says draft picks is our number one asset.
We got a
Peasy says, "Call me crazy if you get me a pass rusher. Simmons or Ramsey would be a nice piece to add to this defense."
That's a very sane thing to think, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the edge rusher position, Jalen Hunt, to me, his progression was insane at the end of the season. His ability to use those long arms and get to the quarterback, I thought that was so amazing in the Super Bowl. I think Nolan Smith, watching him speak about what Brandon Graham has meant to him and his mindset, he said it almost made him cry talking about, like, I mean, we got an opportunity to at the golf outing to just hang out with Brandon Graham, and it was a Jordan Spector as well. And we're out there like just you guys don't, if you never got an opportunity to be around, BG is the juice man, and I've Nolan Smith is also Juice Man Jr. And they both got it. Like, I've always been in awe of Nolan Smith's ability to emote and come from the heart and speak his piece anytime he's up on those pressers. It sucks that he tore I had the tricep injury in the Super Bowl. I mean, but BG had same injury, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that he just said, coming from the South, what they call poured in his cup of knowledge that he's gained. I really do think we're in a good situation with those guys. Ojulari is here. Uche is here. We'll see what they have in camp. I'm more high on Ojulari as a pass rusher, but Uche has flashed. But again, the veteran edge. I mean, it's Darius Smith. Would he want to come in here, have a role? That would be just
I mean, as we sit here from the OTAs, it's one name that keeps on popping up that I'm really eager to see how they contribute is the Vanilla Gorilla, bro. Some Ty Robinson. Like, every time I see him in pads, I'm like, that dude is a WWE.
He's a big dude.
Dude, he's so big.
He's a big dude. The funny thing is his stepdad. His father had passed away earlier in his life, but his stepdad was part of like I think NFL. He was a coach somewhere, NFL camp or something, or like he's been through training ever since he's been a kid. He's had that around him. Like
been in the lab.
saw him down at the Senior Bowl. He definitely flashed at the Senior Bowl. He was like, he was making his presence known, and that's one thing. And these are the reasons why I go to the Senior Bowl, because you can see how they fare against the top talent. And I feel like during our draft show that we were having, he was the guy that was on our target list after the fact all these DTs started going off the board. Is he the next Moro Ojomo, or is he the next Milton Williams? It's a good question. Jalen Carter loves what he sees. Obviously, pads ain't on yet, but he likes what he sees. I like what I see. I gave him a big shout out at the Eagles Autism Challenge.
What if you throw another one in the mix? Go throw Trey Hendrickson in there.
I mean, it's a lot of sauce. It's a lot of dip on a chip if you're Howie, money wise.
I know.
I mean, I don't know what the Bengals are doing. They're offending all their players, but it is what it is. Can they get some? I mean, what are they doing? Like they always hold players captive.
I'm just getting greedy. I don't know.
I mean, it would be nice, but
I want the Monstars, bro.
We're about to pay Jalen Carter a king's ransom.
Yeah, you got to keep some of that money.
So
liquid.
That's why you got to bring in. What they call him, the Vanilla Gorilla now.
They're calling Ty Robinson. Yeah.
Okay.
You haven't heard that? Yeah, they're calling him.
Yeah.
That.
Just want to make sure I got it. Because we got the exciting mics. Exciting. Shout out to the Milk Muscle. That's Evan's nickname for Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean. I think we're getting these little clips all over the internet, all over different podcasts of the mindset of a lot of these players. I do think Reed Blankenship and Coop, they're all locked in. Like I went to an event. I'm telling you, I'm not even lying. I went to a lot of events. I didn't finish this one event. It was called the Life Surge event. It was like a kind of like a religious vibe to it. A lot of speakers, pastors came out, spoke, but the one Eagle player that opened up at the Life Surge was Saquon Barkley. It talks about like his ability to like where he's at with his faith, and just saying that he's like, I signed my contract on the day that I got baptized. He's like, things happen for reasons, like where I am in my faith. He's like, my daughter kind of inspired me. He's like, I want to be a role model for her. He's like, I'm in the right position at the right time. I've been blessed with this, he's like, like, would I ever thought I would have been an Eagle? No, but I'm here now. And just the way that he looks at things. I mean, he's making his waves. You see him all over media. But I think just listening to him talk, I think he's locked in. I mean, the humble and hungry is something they talk about in the Eagles locker room. I think he's there.
I mean, Saquon Barkley is honestly, with Jalen Hurts, the last guy. Guys, I'm worried about being locked in on the season. I mean, they show it year after year. And Saquon's also just one of those dudes that it doesn't even matter. He's just better than you. Point blank period. He is better than the guy that is across from him. And it doesn't matter even if he's 100% locked in or not. He's an alien. And there's nothing you could do about it.
Madden cover.
Cover. Of him just absolutely little boying somebody. Like, that was the craziest shit I ever saw in my life.
I hope he's tapped into his faith, because
he ascended.
We're gonna need him to be healthy for this season. So let's see. I'm asking the football gods to stick with us. Pete asks, who you give the edge to, Keely Ringo or Dory Jackson?
Probably Dory.
I mean, right now, Dory until camp. I mean, my thing is, you always need depth. And Ringo or Dory, if they need to step up and get on this field, we're gonna need everyone. So it doesn't matter if who you call first or second in the lineup. You know, we have guys like Tariq Castro Fields. We have Eli Ricks, AJ Woods. I just say names that you probably are not going to ever think of, but we have Mac McWilliams, who also has been flashing, but he's an opportunity to play inside and outside. And this is just from a Ringo perspective, age perspective. Keely Ringo and McWilliams are new nickelback / cornerback, outside cornerback, same age.
Mm-hmm.
Ringo
came in at like 19, right?
He was like 20 years old. Couldn't buy a Bud Light he couldn't buy alcohol. Okay, it's a cheap opportunity for a plug, but but I'm saying, I mean, that's how young he is. I mean,
Josh
Moro
Jobe.
Jomo.
That's a name I forgot about.
Yeah, Josh Jobe. Now Yosh 23, 22H. It says August surprise for me would be trading a third and a fifth for Trayvon. Now that's interesting. Just one thing, he's an ex-Bulldog, but good value. I think remember he got drafted super high. I didn't like that. But for him and his bank account, that was nice. But I think that would be a good move right there.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to get in the return, though? Like, do you think that it's a guy that, like, underperformed as far as his draft status? So to give up 2 picks for him, you think that would be worth it? Do you think the return would be worth it, or is that going to be a Bryce Huff 2.0?
I mean, how many fifths do we have next year?
How many thirds do we have?
That's a good question. But I give a third and fifth. I mean, if we're really trying to fortify the edges, it's who's going to, obviously, Nolan Smith, Todd says, might be the best interview on the Eagles. Philadelphia love this kid like they love
Jalen was balling last year too. I mean, he was really towards the end of the year coming into his own.
I love both those dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd being a big Bulldog guy, he's excited. Shout out to Tim Perkins, who's also with us with the Eagles Autism Challenge. JC talking up the Vanilla Gorilla. Should be an exciting season for the interior D line. I definitely feel like I hope he's like the story of camp. That would be nice.
Be great, man. If he's just manhandling people.
That would be nice. Shout out to the Moose checking in. He said, "Good evening, fellas." Have you ever seen a moose in person?
A moose in person? No, I haven't. I heard they're insane. Yeah,
change your life.
Yeah.
Go up to Maine. It's called Moosehead Lake. It's where they hang out. Tell me. You want to go see a moose?
I've drank Moosehead beer.
Okay. All right. Now Gary says Jalix feels like he could have a Derek Burgess like impact. I'd still like to add there though, a name experience bet would be great. I mean,
Ojulari not doing anything for you.
Yeah, I mean, Ojulari also dealt with injuries.
Mm-hmm.
But he can get to the quarterback. I mean, when you talk to the Giants people, my friends that I trust, and if they prove it, I'm like, okay. If certain ones that I talk to, I'm like, if you say this is a good move, I believe you. If they is level of salt to their or combos, then I'm like, all right, we're on the right path. Now Darren G says, personally, I would not be at all surprised to see Robinson slide right into Milton's old spot. Immediate impact.
I mean, it would be great for that to happen. It's just has to obviously translate. Big body dudes, just because they're big body, you got to have the ability to. I have hope that he will. It sounds like he's been performing well.
Pete Nathan asking for TJ Watt. No,
Too much dip.
I mean, it sounds nice. Hendrickson, TJ Watt sounds nice. Sounds nice.
I'm with Pete on his most recent comment, though. I think it's possible that Uche.
What did he say? Uche
might not make it. Yeah. Gotta see. Still early to say, but I can see that.
Jimmy's already talking about back-to-back Super Bowl wins. I like it. I like it. Peasy says I would not just like. I'd love the Trayvon Walker trade.
Yeah. 87 days. All right.
Jawn's asking for JJ Watt, any Watt. I'm like Watt TF. Okay. What y'all talking about? Shout out to Marissa in the building. Says Walker had 10 sacks each of the last 2 years. I mean, it's not bad.
Not to be slept on, yeah. It's pretty.
Shout out to residents. I don't know. I'm trying to describe Nady. Legend.
Yeah.
Legend. Legend. Yeah. Go Birds. This is way less stressful than watching the
Phillies. Ass, man. They've been in free fall.
Well, Nady always has his backup Yankees. Yankees bird. If you've seen Nady's handles in the past. Lewis seen a guy was also a Bulldog, got hurt with the Vikings. Didn't really fare too well with the Bills. We're getting him after all that. My cat voice. Have you seen those impersonations of cat? Oh, dude from Knicks.
Oh yeah. Big purr.
Also an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
After all that, any word? Lewis C, and I think, hey, is the fluidity there? Can he make a push on this route? That's a good call there.
Wow, Nady has renounced his Yankee fandom.
What?
That's big. Look at that. Toss it up there.
He's all in.
I respect it.
Now Pete says we're sleeping on Morrow. Since when have we slept on Morrow Jones?
I think he's done great. I think he's going to continue to progress.
Yeah.
What is there not to like? Am I saying he's gonna be starting next to Carter? No.
We love
he's
Morrow.
A good rotational dude.
We love Morrow. Anytime a 7th round pick can have an impact, and you're talking about him being a rotational player in year what? For how much he's getting paid?
Mm-hmm.
This is why Milton Williams is not here.
Yeah, 7th round pick, man.
Shout out to Ricky Payton. He says, "What's up, gang?
That's good.
Go Birds. How you doing, man? What's up, Ricky? Ricky!
Don't do that to him."
Chris Nady, all Philly or nothing. I like that. Sounds like a movie.
Do you see Pete Nathan thinking that Sidney Brown is going to take that next step? I'm going to be honest, man. And I'm not trying to – I've been known to be a hater in my life. I'm not being that. I think Sidney Brown is a really solid special teams player. I think that he has the ability to maybe one day be a safety. But what I've seen so far in his career, he needs to rein it in. You know what I mean? He needs to play more in his position. I think right now he – gets really excited about taking people's heads off, which I think is great and I think has a place in this game, but it needs to be more finesse in his game.
I'm gonna make a what is it? Comparison. I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption lately too.
Enjoying it?
Fantastic game.
Mm-hmm.
So much so I don't want to even finish the game. I just want to
there's plenty to do.
Just do what I do. But like you have to go in the game, you have to go find horses, and there's like a bucking bronco, and you got to tame the horse.
Yep.
You got to get it to a level where you can actually, just train it to be an everyday horse. Mm-hmm. This is what we need to do with Sydney Brown. You got to tame the horse. You got to make sure the horse knows what it's doing.
Yeah.
The bucking bronco can fly. It can do
got all the strength in the world. Yeah.
But we don't need you to just fly. We need you to maneuver. We need you to gallop. You need to sprint. When we need you to buck, then you buck. And that's what we need. And then I'm again certified Sydney Brown stan. That's who I wanted out of the draft that year. That was my Red Star player, and he was Red Star player that year. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Mike asks, aka Fuji, says, "Is there any free agents out there left that you fellas can help? Think that can help the Birds?"
Justin Simmons, Jair Alexander. We've mentioned these guys. Other than that, trying to think about position wise, where else I would go. It's such a luxury to be sitting here trying to think about our weaknesses and coming up with blanks, if I'm being honest with you. Anyway, that's hilarious. He's waiting first in line right now. He's already there.
Hey, have I checked in on Steven? Steven sent me a text the other day. He said, got a new haircut.
Okay. All right. Oh, man.
This guy is...
Tinder, watch out.
Then I sent him the Zoolander. I'm like, all right, buddy. Okay. But if you know Steven, he's usually at the tailgates. He's the first person to get a cheesesteak. He's got his Hall of Fame.
He won a Super Bowl that way, man.
You got to keep everything the same thing.
Yeah, me and Prime made a point this past season because Steve was a good luck charm, and the one week that we didn't allow Steve to have the first cheesesteak, we lost. So we had to make sure he got him.
Keep the main thing, man.
Uh-huh.
Now, P says Sydney Brown as a hybrid linebacker and passing out. That would be nice. I'm with it. I mean, speaking about the linebacker position, obviously, Fangio is very upfront about where Nakobe Dean is at. Could be a minute.
Campbell as well.
Jihad Campbell will be back in August. Met with Jihad at the Eagles Autism Challenge. Very excited for what he brings to the table. But linebacker position, Jeremiah Trotter is going to be the guy next to Zach Bond starting the season in camp. I think Jeremiah Trotter should get all these reps. Mental reps are amazing. Him just reps with the first team is great right now. I mean, I think it's you're trying to develop players, and Fangio talks about reps, just like Keely Ringo needing reps. Trotter needs all the reps he can get. What's your feeling about it? I mean, obviously, this is me the day we drafted Nakobe. Very excited about what Nakobe brought to the table. Evan gracefully goes up to Nakobe Dean at the Eagles Autism Challenge. Gives him an Eagle fan, normal traits of an Eagle fan, wanting to know too much about his injuries. And here we are, 3 years later.
What are we talking about?
Evan.
Hey, they call me Mr. Medicals for a reason. You know what I mean? I could smell it on him.
Great year by Nakobe. Phenomenal.
It was. And I think that Nakobe Dean still has a place on this team in the same capacity that Avonte Maddox had a place on this team last year. It's unfortunate because I think Nakobe Dean's ability is obviously there. You know what you're going to get out of Nakobe when he's on the field. He's going to disrupt plays. He's going to get in small gaps and get to the quarterback. He's going to cover well. but he doesn't stay healthy enough, and that's something that you obviously have to consider. And we're gonna go into the year hoping that Nakobe can come back at some point and contribute, and we can eventually put this part of his career behind him. But I mean, you have to operate with the information that you have, and the information that we have is that he's injury prone, and so we have plan B, C in place. I think that it's kind of, you're not going to find an Eagles fan out here that doesn't root for the success of Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I mean, just for the story of it. But I mean, it's been like I wanted to sit here and say, oh, you know, that's a guy that throughout his college career and all that, I wanted him on the Eagles. But like, who the hell didn't? Is Jeremiah Trotter Jr. But to see him actually start to move out of his dad's shadow and perform on his own, earn a spot to start in the year. I think that is great. I like Smile Munden as well. I think that's a guy great name. That's a guy that is a sleeper for me going into training camp. I really want to, see what he's able to contribute this year as well. I think he could be a solid depth guy. But yeah, man, Nakobe, it's depressing because I want him to ball out with the rest of the Georgia Bulldogs out there on defense, but his body seems to be preventing him from doing so. I think he's got extreme football intelligence. Like if he ended up, I'm not trying to Mr. Medical decision his career, but if he found himself in a position where he was retiring at a younger age, considering injuries, I'd love to see him in a coaching capacity.
This guy's still on the team, and he's already talking about his coaching career.
What did I say 3 years ago when we were standing there? We just met.
Okay, Nostradamus. Okay. I do think he's a leader of men.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a dog. I mean, no pun intended, but I don't think the media knew how much impact he had in that locker room. I think he's a guy. I ran into Nakobe at Mitchell and Ness and with Nady's boy, Sidney Brown. He had the brace on that knee. That was a serious knee brace. That was like coming from a guy who tore his ACL a couple times. That was a brace on a brace on a brace.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, God. I was like, well, as soon as I saw the brace, I was like, we're not seeing Nakobe for a while. And Fangio has let that out the bag. Now, Chris asks, any talk about Antoine Powell Ryland? I think where we got him 7th round, I think he's a guy that, showed that he could get to the quarterback. I think he had 4 sacks in multiple games. It was a Bruce Smith record. He's a guy in late rounds that you take a flyer on.
Like a Moro Ojomo.
With the traits, knows how to get the quarterback. I think his arm with arm length and all that, played against him. Obviously, I'm rooting for him. I'm definitely rooting for him.
Yeah, all these back end guys, you would love to see that. I mean, and so would Howie. When you talk about it from a cap perspective, if you have a bunch of the late round talent performing on rookie deals, that's cheap.
Shout out to Jason, resident Iowa Hawkeyes fan.
What's up, Jason?
If I'm gonna be honest, I think Jason was the first person to ever say Cooper DeJean.
I think so.
As an Eagle.
On yeah.
I think he was calling for him before he was even born. Nostradamus these. I think Jason. I was going through my Facebook messages. I found a message from Jason. Replied today. Could have been 2 months late. Not a big Facebook guy. Instagram.
Neither am I.
I'm horrible with DMs. I'm gonna get better. I have to. This year, you'll see a difference. I promise you.
Pete Nathan bringing up a guy that has been honestly one of my favorites since he's been here. Dude, Patrick Johnson is an unsung hero of this team. I think, it's not a coincidence, the fact that he's been able to stick around, the past 4 or 5 years now? He's just been like lurking in the back end of that roster. But there's a reason, because the Eagles don't want to give him up. He's a solid player. He doesn't get much playing time, but when he does get in there, he goes and finds a way to make an impact. So I'm eager to see another year of progression out of him. Potentially just another guy coming off the edge, or even some linebacker help.
Now Darren says, "I'm with you on that, Evan." Speaking on Nakobe Dean, if his body just can't go like we want, I would be very happy keeping his brains around on the coaching staff. It'd be. Perk says, Ev just put in the cemetery.
I'm not trying to do that. Nakobe, I'm not trying to do that, dude. I'm just trying to say that, I'm saying what we're all thinking here.
Pete says in his R. Kelly voice, "My mind's telling me yes, but my body's telling me no. My body's telling me no." Speaking of body telling me no, shout out to Prime. He's on his sick bed today, very dehydrated. Got a text from the wife saying he is in bad shape, so we're lifting you up today. Okay.
Hope you feel better, Primo.
Shout out to Tim, Desert Tim. Okay.
Probably also dehydrated.
It serves you right for living in Arizona, obviously. Just talking about a little bit about some back end players, like, it's not sexy to talk about offensive linemen, but Tyler Steen, a guy who got his opportunity taken away from him, not by, I'd say, terrible play, but just Mekhi Becton being freaking awesome. I think Tyler Steen, big shout out to his brother that I met in Mobile, Alabama, who didn't know his own brother's number. I kind of trying to figure out your relationship, where you guys are at, if you didn't know what his number was. But he was Tyler Steen's biggest fan, and saying supposedly he said no, he wore 54. I'm like, yeah, in college, not with the Eagles, bro. I said, Jeremiah Trotter, ring a bell? Who's that? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I said, have you talked to your brother? When's the last time you talked to your brother? Calls his other brother, says, hey, what's Tyler's number? And I'm like, bro, it's not what you think it is. And then he's like, okay, you're right. You are. He's like, you are a true Eagles fan. So, and then he's like, what are you doing? You want to hang out in Mobile? Here's my number. Never got to it.
So you got his number, but his own brother don't got it.
I was all about the Senior Bowl.
That's fair.
So
I mean, you're a reporter doing reporter work.
I'm not gonna dox him, but Darius Steen. You shout out, you give Darius a call. You say, hey, I have invited him to a tailgate. I said we make our own cheesesteaks. Evan Hollywood Hearn. Kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal, man. Get on down there if you haven't.
I was thinking about you the other day when Skinny Joe's cheesesteaks followed us on Instagram. It's like the newest happening cheesesteak. I got to get down there and try.
I'll try a Skinny Joe. Where's it at? Yeah,
it's close to the stadium. Cheesesteak tour. Shout out to dude from Japan. He's big in Japan and also big in Philly.
Oh, okay. I know where this is at. Okay, it's like right across the street from the Chickies and Pete's down there by the stadium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Pete asked, "How do you anticipate this offense looking like compared to last year, and how can they look different this year? Because we are the hunted this year. How would you keep that offense fresh?"
So, if I am thinking about what is going to change with this offense, I think we're going to have a more pass heavy attack. I think Jalen is going to have more passing yards, more passing touchdowns. I think Devontae and AJ Brown are going to want to get theirs. I think it would be really highly unlikely. As much as I want to see it, as much as I still think Saquon has an MVP like season, to get 2,000 yards again, I think is a pretty tall order. So I think that we see a more pass heavy attack, and you have to try and conserve Saquon and his health long term. So lean more on Devontae and AJ.
What about AJ Dillon?
AJ Dillon as well. I could see him doing well.
Well, my thing is this offense. My thing is it's pick your poison, and I think each week presents a different matchup that you can take advantage of. One day it's Dallas Goedert, smacking you in the face like E Honda from Street Fighter. One day it's AJ Dillon on a cold day, 4th and 1, 3rd and short, just running you the hell over. Most of the time it's Saquon Barkley breaking off big runs, tush push in your face all day.
The tush push still being there is just so great, man.
AJ Brown, mano y mano, checking your manhood every time. Any corner that he's going up to. Also PFS top wide receiver.
In the league.
Dagger like performance from a Smitty, who got number 20 ranked wide receiver. He's still higher in my heart and in my mind.
Smitty doesn't get the stats of it, but he's a top 10 talent wide receiver in the league.
Devontae, I was watching his, and again, go on YouTube, watch Devontae Smith's his training sessions. Not that you can learn anything about. He's just a locked in player. It's a light switch for him,
and his footwork is second to none.
There's not much, and then this is what we're talking about. And then when we come to wide receivers, now we got to talk about back end 4 and 5 guys. This is what all our talks are going to be about wide receivers. Obviously,
when you look at like the past couple years, just how our offense has been built up, wide receiver 4 doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter who it is. Between the shares of Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith, and then you sprinkle in some Jahan Dotson, there's not much more else to go around here.
I like the words that AJ Brown had for Nye Smith. Had him out there doing some visualization. Bro, shout out to my old coach, Paul LaPolice, who's a big coach in CFL. Taught me the visualization stuff early on, and that stuff is a miracle. I'm telling you. I love the fact that AJ Brown is pouring into Nia Smith's cup and telling him to see. He's got to see it before it happens, and that's what I'd like to see. Because great kid. Him and Johnny Wilson, they gotta pick up the phone when the phone.
When someone's calling.
Yeah, that's. If the phone's calling, you gotta pick it up and make a big play. That's what I'm saying.
I got you.
And if you only got 2, you get 1 call that game. You got to pick up and make a big play. That's what I'm just saying.
This is a team that's still. You remember the Quez Watkins of the world? That's a guy that would just sit there and let it ring. You don't want to be that guy.
There's not too many people that I've ever made customs for that I wanted the customs back.
Quez is on that list.
Not even a post on socials. Okay.
Brutal out here, man.
Brutal. Ripped my heart out. Darren G says, as long as the OC adapts during games, see what the D is trying to take away and has an appropriate response, will we find, like Gail says, pick your poison. And it's with our offensive line play. If you listen to Saquon Barkley talk about this offensive line that he played with, he said some are good inside, outside zone, some, power. He's like, this offensive line could do everything. It's the first time ever in his career they got to play with an offensive line who could do everything, and everything was an option. And this is what our whole thing with Saquon going to the Giants, and I've always told my Giant friends, you'll never get the full value of Saquon. By the time he'll be gone, and thank God for that. Thank God for that. But big shout out to I know we're gonna have Philly Sports Trips on shortly this week, but big shout out to Philly Sports Trips. Make sure you follow them at Philly_sports_trips on IG, at Sports Trips PHL on X, Philly Sports Trips on Facebook. For more information about the trips, man, I got some big news. It's big news this year. Big news. But here's some of the trips that are coming up. Obviously, the big takeover starts in Kansas City, September 13th through 16th. We got the Birds takeover in Tampa Bay. Birds takeover in New York, October 9th. Birds takeover in Minnesota, which I'm very excited about. I'm going. Well, I'll get to that in a second. Birds takeover in Green Bay. Todd Herman's joining that trip. There's a Birds Fly Home. All my folks from across the pond are coming to Philadelphia for that trip. Birds takeover in Dallas, November 21st to the 24th. Birds takeover at Los Angeles, December 5th through the 9th. Birds takeover Washington. That's a normal happening, except for when Jalen Hurts gets hurt. Birds take over Buffalo in the cold, the December 27th to the 29th. It could be the coldest game of the year. But it starts off with the Kansas City Chiefs, week 2. Big time, man. Big time. But shout out to Philly Sports Trips. Well, I'll be one of their lead trip coordinators this year.
Oh, look at this guy. Trip coordinator. You gonna be chaperoning? Making sure everybody's in their room?
I'll be going on there.
Hey,
get in line. get on the bus. But I'll be at every game, man, this year.
That's awesome. Nice.
So
that'll be great.
I'm just trying to think about what kind of job I might have, but this going to football games, is that a job?
It's not a job if you enjoy what you do, man.
Is that a job? Now, Ev, what game excites you the most?
Honestly, it's between the Minnesota and the Green Bay game. If I had to pick one, too cold.
Are you making it to Lambeau?
I think that'd be pretty cool. I would love to go check it out, man.
Okay, if it's on the radio, hey, we gotta make it happen, man. I think I'm excited. I'm excited.
Luckily, I know a trip coordinator. So,
I'm all about the cheese.
I think like when you just talk about history of the game, you know what I mean? Obviously, Green Bay is not New Orleans when you talk about nightlife, where we went last year. But history of the game, man. I'm a football historian, just like yourself. That's where the first champions were. It's where the Vince Lombardis of the world were. There's a lot of history that's there. I would love to check it out. And it's just like I had a work trip pop up like a few months ago, and I didn't get to go on it, but like it was a work trip to Little Rock, Arkansas, and I was like, you know what? I'm actually down, just because when the hell else would I ever go to Little Rock, Arkansas? if I was going there, like Green Bay, like I won't ever go to Wisconsin again, other than to go to this Green Bay game. So check it off the list. Another state I haven't been to. You know how many states you've been to? You ever calculate that up?
It's getting up there. I mean, thanks to Philly Sports Trips.
Thanks to Philly Sports Trips for sure.
They've added to my my bucket list for crossing stuff off. Going to Seattle was for me. I would have never gone to Seattle. Really, I've always wanted to, but like
Mm-hmm.
the whole rain thing, whatever. But going to Seattle was, and then being able to go down to Oregon. I tried to get it with Mark Bird from Oregon, but
You
he
went
was
down
farther.
into Oregon and you didn't hit up Mark Bird?
No, I did,
Oh,
did, but he was too far south for me.
gotcha.
But just seeing part of the country that I've never seen before, and I went to the Goonies house and the Goonies beach. If you've never seen the Goonies, ask Prime because he probably seen it.
Hey, you guys!
But it's you see parts of the country that you're like, I really need to I need to see. I mean, what do you? My thing is, what do you wait for as you get older? And I'm like, bro, I got places to see and a whole
100%,
lot of
man.
wins to get.
Yeah. I mean, you going being able to check out Brazil last year. Insane.
That was a trip of a lifetime. I still
And
to
that's
this
how you
day,
kicked off the Eagles Super Bowl run, man. Crazy.
phenomenal year, phenomenal football year. Darren G says still sucks we don't have any back-to-back home games until we host the postseason at least. Wink emoji. Darren speaking with his heart there. He says Goonies Beach is Cannon Beach, which further away from Astoria. Yeah, it's a couple. It's a little ride, but you can hit a Nike outlet in Oregon that has stuff you will never see. You'll never see Oregon is the
The
mecca
Mecca. Wow.
of
Mecca.
Nike products.
Mhm.
Mm. Uh, but yeah, big shout out to all the people that are going on these trips this year, man. I think we got to stay up on it. I think Eagle fans can't be complacent about where they are with their fandom. They got a Super Bowl last year. You were part of that if you were on the road
Yeah, absolutely.
or at home games.
Or just a fan. You were there.
Also big shout out to big shout out to Underdog, man. Big shout out to Underdog. Big shout out to Underdog per usual. Make sure you're using promo code Jawn to get up $1,000 of bonus cash and a free pick.
Oh,
Okay. But Underdog is one of the best places to make picks during the playoff basketball season. Underdog is leading in place to make all your sports picks, and you can play now in your state. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next to play? All you have to do is download the app and choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats. You choose from things like points, assists, and so much more. Once your picks feel good, you can play with as little as $1. If you get everything right, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Okay. Make sure you download the Underdog app and sign up with promo code Jawn to unlock a special offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code Jawn. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, where Tim lives, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with you play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I think we're right around the corner, man.
yeah.
Right around the
I mean,
corner.
mandatory stuff is when? Next
Tomorrow.
week? Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So if there's any updates, I might go live if people are around. You want to know what happened at the practice. This is the first mandatory one. You're going to see guys like Devontae Smith. You're going to see guys like AJ Brown.
Mm-hmm.
The whole
Jay
crew will be
Hurts,
there.
Saquon.
I mean, I really think it's we're stacked, bro.
It's great. It's a great way to go into the year.
Dallas Goedert's back. I don't know if I'm trying to think about what we have missed in the last couple of weeks that we didn't get to talk about. Dallas Goedert being back. Thank God we got him back. It was dicey for a second. Shout out to Dave Spadaro that night, draft night. I got to talk to him before, and I was like, he's like, Dallas Goedert's coming back. He said Jeffrey Lurie wants him, and I'm like, yes,
let's go.
Yes.
Do you think that if you had to make a prediction right now, how long term do you think?
His deal was 1 year, right?
Yeah. So I'm saying, do you think that there's any chance of extension, or is this just like last?
I mean, this could be the last run. I just love the way. Did you get to see his presser?
Yeah.
Just the way that he spoke on, at a certain point in your career, you just know your value, but you know, do you want to be jumping around, or you like? It's a special place to play at. He's been to 2 Super Bowls in the last, 3 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact that it's a special place to play. He's like, the Eagles knew my value. I knew my value. He was happy with that. I think, looking at other players, he's like, I'm not really into my ego like that. Like, it's like it wasn't about being the highest paid or being a top paid or whatever. I think he's just another one of those guys that is locked in the juice level. Like, everybody's on that same. Everyone's drinking from the same cup, man. Like, they all have that mindset, man. I feel like they a lot of them got it. I think it's a big deal for the next generation of Eagle players to have that. And I think winning the Super Bowl, the Quinyons, the Cooper, the Jawns, the Jalix Hunts, they're the next.
Did you see
the next?
Cooper DeJean is calling himself Cooper DeJean on the Exciting Mike's podcast. Pretty funny. Heard it here first.
Before he got drafted. I put it in the comment. I don't want to be like, but I said we were calling you Cooper DeJean before you even drafted. It's just, I'm glad he's here. And he's everywhere, man. He's
going to I mean, we joked about like how he's already peaked in his career. Like, how do you do anything above picking off Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl and returning it for a pick 6? But when you think about how he came in as a rookie, as a guy that missed training camp and was able to fit in like a glove from the get-go, and then turn into one of the top-rated slot corners in the game, while having, as Vic Fangio says, the versatility to play safety if he needs him to, while having the versatility to play outside corner, can play slot corner at a very high level, and he's also returning punts. Like, you think about what that means for the rest of his career. Like, his potential is truly off the charts. He's going to be a really good player for us.
I mean, I just think it's to have him just humble and hungry dude. Pretty soon he's going to get paid, and his play is going to go down in all-time history in a Super Bowl. I mean, if you look at the Jordan Spector painting that he did of Jordan Spector, just epic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Epic stuff. But speaking of Jordan Spector, there's an event with Brandon Graham. It's going to be on July 3rd, 6 to 9 p.m. Bro, if you want to hang out with Jordan, hang out with Brandon Graham, it's a great opportunity. See it all go down at the Chesapeake Inn, July 3rd, 6 to 9. That card is going to get you a piece of the jersey and the cleats that he wore. Okay,
that's
so
pretty awesome.
Just maybe, you'll meet us down there in Chesapeake City, Maryland. But that'll be a good time. Also, if you go to our socials on Instagram, we're trying to give back, right? Brian Dawkins blessed us with a great time at the Brian Impact Foundation, the celebrity golf outing. So we wanted to give back to y'all. So if you follow our Instagram, I got a ball signed here.
Hey,
a great opportunity to get a
nice picture in the background there too.
Yeah, shout out to. I mean, I got a Ryan Dawkins thing sign on the wall. I think the ball should go to one of y'all. So all you have to do is go to our socials on Instagram. We're going to be making a post about being blessed by the best. I said we're gonna give away a ball in behalf of Brian Dawkins Impact Foundation. All you got to do is follow them on Instagram. That's all you got to do. So make sure you tag someone in the comments, and then make sure you're following the Brian Dawkins Impact Foundation on Instagram and socials. And that's all you got to do. If you do that, we're going to pick someone random out of the comments, and you'll be getting that ball. But hey, Brian Dawkins, first of all, I can't, there's the words, I can't, there's no words to describe to be, invited by their group, and just us giving them access to just go up to Mike Quick, hey, go up to Merrill Reese and like, hey, and then Prime's like, hey, Merrill, and Merrill's like, hey, buddy, it's you, the opportunity to have these conversations with players that you admire. Got to meet Brian, talked to Brian Westbrook, and obviously Hollis was there, man of the hour per usual. A lot of great memories, and I think you all have to come next year to the dinner. Not enough people know about it. I don't know why, but every year we go to this event, and people are like, "How did you know about this?" But Brian Dawkins has this dinner every year. Come on out. Money's going to a great cause, helping single moms and kids out there. So
That's great.
and maybe next year Evan will play in the game.
Be great.
I mean, Javon Curse was there. You're playing with greats. I don't think I could. My nerves would be racked. Big Perk says, do you think we pick up a free agent wide receiver or trade before the training camp?
No, honestly, I think we're kind of
like who are you thinking?
It's not going to be any big name, I don't think.
I'm trying to think about who is out there. I mean, Cooper DeJean talking about getting routed up by
Adam Thielen.
I mean, that's when you bring in a veteran.
Is he available?
Well, no, trade. Like if you want to come to a winner, and he's crafty. This is what I'm talking about. Like my wide receiver 4, if he's that crafty, like that's crafty.
Mm-hmm. That's crafty.
That's what I'm talking about. And put him in a blender.
Keenan Allen.
He's a rowdy guy, not the twitch in his game is probably leaving. But he's out there. He's actually out there, right?
Yeah, there's some.
I mean, there's options, man. There's options. But before we get out of here, if you have a say it with your chest moment, I know. Could it be anything about house stuff?
Could be. Yeah, I mean, I guess if I had to really say something with my chest, you can do a lot more housework than you believe that you can. If you're a truly frugal gang, you will find out a way to make it work. I've officially hit the full trio. I've done electrical work now. I've done plumbing, and I've done gas work. Is my house going to blow up? I guess we'll find out. I don't know. But I've done it all kosher. I've gotten people that actually know what they're doing to sign off on what I'm doing. So
are you putting them? Are they liable now?
I wouldn't say they're liable. I'm definitely making my own decisions. But yeah, got it hooked up the dryer that I had to replace some pipe, and it was a whole thing. Also, the guys, I tipped those guys cash to hook up the washer and dryer. First of all, couldn't even hook up the dryer because the hose was the wrong size. That was the whole thing. I had to get it. Long story short, I had to get more pieces to make that work. And then the washer, they switched the hoses. They put out the hot on the cold on the hot. Do everything yourself, and you'll be able to know that you did it right. That's what I got to say with my chest. If you want it done right, do it yourself. What about you, Gil? How's the koi pond coming along?
The what?
Didn't you have a koi pond?
Oh no, I'm building a deck. Not a deck. I'm building a patio.
Okay.
With a fire pit walkway.
Nice.
Something.
You level out the ground yet?
I'm not doing it myself.
Oh, okay.
But I got
not frugal gang over there. Big bucks.
It's I've never thought I'd be building a patio, but here we are. But doing some stuff around my fixing up my shout out to my pop, RIP, but fixing up his crib. Okay.
That's great.
So I got stuff to fix. So Evan, if you're available for hire,
let me know, man. Let me know. I'll be there. I'll help out.
I'm looking for contractors.
I'll be there. I'll be there with Scabby the Rat, non-union work right here.
Yeah, it's funny to say what your chef. Mine is like I've learned a lot about house stuff over the last couple of years. I'm not at Evan's level hooking up the gas to washing machine.
You can be, man. You can be.
I've never even heard of that.
It's not complicated.
Never even heard of that.
Get gas dryer. But yeah.
Carissa says, did Saquon play in Dawkins' charity event? He said he would be, depending on. Yeah, he was unfortunately he was at they had OTA. I was like, Saquon's gonna be here. What? But everyone was there, man. I was talking to Takeo Spikes. He corrected me. Shout out to halftime Holly. She saw Takeo and was like, "What's up, Lito?" I was like, "That is no." It's the whole time he was making fun of her, saying that his name was Lito. Harold Carmichael was out there. Nice. A lot of legends, man. Yeah. Ike Reese, bro's hilarious. Fits are on point.
Yeah, he's great on the radio, man.
Yeah, good time with him. Trying to think who else out there. I had it says it's too hot in Texas to build stuff.
So I got it all done in the spring. Although I did I'm not even gonna say the joke on here, but I had a big time ivy problem in the backyard, and I started taking my country back in the backyard.
Poison ivy?
No, yeah, all different types. It's gotten overgrown in the back of it, and I was mowing the lawn right before we came on here, and I was like, let me just try going over it with the mower, and I got way farther than I thought I was going to. So excited about that.
Proud of you, man. You're growing up. You're doing some grown folk stuff.
Yeah, man.
I'm right there with you. Mulching, doing all that crazy stuff. Not exciting to anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about.
I will say though, man, the housework definitely hits different when
you do it yourself.
Well, I was gonna say when you're not doing it for like a rental or something like that, like doing chores around that. But when it's a lot easier to take some pride in it, you know.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I was on my mulch tip this weekend. I was out there. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the edges.
That's lovely.
I was walking around like Jalen Mills, flexing for no reason in front of my mulch. You see that? You see the neighbor. You like? I know you're watching through the windows. You
got the knee pads on too. The gardening knee pads.
Not that guy. Not that guy. But big shout out to you guys in the chat. We appreciate you guys sticking around, man. We appreciate that. Make sure you like and subscribe. I never tell them to like and subscribe, but I guess you should be doing that the beginning of a podcast. I never threaten anybody with anything. but a good time and a tailgate. And shout out to Bud Light for holding us down all these years with the Suds. Shout out to Red Bull for giving the tailgate wings, and Cefeli's Pizza for giving Evan Hollywood Hearn wings beneath his cheesesteaks. Shout out to 1675 for helping out over the last part of the year. Appreciate you. Shout out to TJ Lovsky, who helped out with our tailgate with the Delicious City podcast. We did our first Phillies tailgate, but also shout out to resident tailgate champion, honorary Conchahawk and Italian Bakery. Learned some interesting stuff about they might have a new owner.
Really?
So Conchi could be owned by someone else now.
Interesting. I wonder if Tina is going to lay the groundwork. And
it broke my heart. I was like, no, I'm happy, but I'm like,
well, yeah, you want them to be able to sell.
Shout out Tim Armstrong. Also at the came out to the golf outing out there. He was the one that told me about golf etiquette.
And your lack of it.
I got nothing. I got nothing on it. Also shout out to Crafty Jawn. Make sure if you want a chain, those chunky chains that we have, go to craftyjawn.com. He can customize anything. Shout out to Jesse Wines at Wines Creative on Instagram. If you want graphics, that's your go-to guy, man. That's all I got, man. Of course, it says outdoor housework is hard this spring with all this rain.
Yeah, it definitely has been raining a lot. That made the mowing the lawn that much more difficult. Had a thick one.
Evan's old now. But shout out to Prime and shout out to Tim. Again, if there's some notes tomorrow, potentially a pod tomorrow. I'm going to be firing up the podcast. Fourth and Jones back after a 2-week hiatus. All right,
back, baby.
Last word, Ev.
I mean, I don't have much, just other than I can't believe. You know what? I do got one. I can't believe that my sister gets married in 11 days, bro. Pretty crazy. Big shout out to her and her fiance, soon to be husband, Jake.
What's the name? Okay, Jake.
Jake, he's a great guy.
State Farm.
Jake from State Farm. Happy to be adding him to the family, and so big shout out to them, man. That's a very exciting time for them.
Will you be crying?
I'm officiating it, man. I'm
this guy frugal.
There might be a tear that flows. Yeah.
How many weddings? This is your second wedding, dude.
Second wedding, man. Doing
potential priest, reverend down the way.
Yeah, maybe.
Eagles pastor. Maybe a wedding down at the tailgates. You have your thing. There was a wedding at the tailgate last year. At a tailgate.
I believe it.
Maybe we can get you to do one.
I would be happy to. I would be happy to do that.
We just need a victim. But last word, we appreciate you guys in the chat. Appreciate you guys bearing with us over the last 2 weeks. We appreciate all your input. Make sure you're following us on all socials to keep updated. And again, if you want to win the Brian Dawkins football, right? All you got to do is go to our Instagram. We're going to put out a post maybe tonight about being blessed by the best. Maybe we can put this post as the Instagram post. Sweet, we're doing this on the fly.
I like it. It.
Okay, let's do that. So we're doing a contest. Shout out to Brian Dawkins and at the Brian Dawkins Impact Foundation. Ev, I mean, what are we doing with this ball here?
So should we do a trivia question?
No, I mean, all they got to do is follow. All they got to do is follow.
Oh, well, then they just got to follow. Sorry.
We'll take that one from the top.
He's got to follow on all socials and subscribe to 4th of Jawn on YouTube.
Damn, this guy really butchered this one. Really butchered this one.
Sorry.
Shout out to the Brian Dawkins Impact Foundation. We're blessing you guys. He blessed us at his last event over last week. Great time. All you got to do is follow the Brian Dawkins Impact Foundation. We will be putting this out on socials, and all you got to do is follow them. And we're gonna make sure you tag someone in the comments, and we are going to pick someone randomly, and you're gonna get the football. Okay, that's it. One take, Timmy. We'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, fly, Eagles, fly.
Go Birds.
Hit the button.
Give me